Have you ever noticed how some people seem to thrive when everything's falling apart, while others crumble under pressure? There's this rare group of individuals who somehow find their footing in the chaos. They're the ones who step up when darkness hits, who see light where others see only shadows. If you're an INFJ, chances are you felt this strange pull toward helping others during their worst moments. But why is that? What makes INFJs so uniquely equipped to handle life's darkest chapters? Today, we're diving deep into the psychology behind why INFJs aren't just survivors of tough times. They're the architects of hope when hope seems impossible. Stick around because what you'll discover might just change how you see yourself and your purpose in this world. The INFJ paradox: sensitive yet unbreakable. Let's start with something that sounds completely backwards. INFJs are known for being incredibly sensitive people. They feel everything deeply, absorb emotions like sponges, and often need time alone to recharge. So how on earth does this translate to being built for dark times? Here's the thing: sensitivity isn't weakness. It's actually a superpower in disguise. When crisis hits, most people go into survival mode. They shut down emotionally, focus only on themselves, and wait for the storm to pass. But INFJs, they do the opposite. Their sensitivity becomes their radar system, helping them navigate through the emotional wreckage that tough times create. Think about it this way. During a natural disaster, you want a weather expert who can read the smallest changes in atmospheric pressure, right? That's what INFJs are like during emotional disasters. They can sense when someone's about to break before that person even knows it themselves. They pick up on subtle changes in mood, energy, and behavior that others completely miss. This heightened awareness isn't just about reading people. It's about understanding the deeper currents of what's happening around them. While others see surface-level problems, INFJs see the underlying patterns, the root causes, and most importantly, the potential solutions that nobody else is thinking about. The gift of seeing beyond the obvious. INFJs have this incredible ability to see possibilities where others see dead ends. It's like having X-ray vision for potential. When times get tough, most people focus on what's wrong, what's broken, what's not working. But INFJs naturally shift their focus to what could be, what might emerge from the ashes, what new opportunities might be hiding in the chaos. This isn't toxic positivity, it's strategic optimism. There's a huge difference. Toxic positivity ignores real problems and pretends everything's fine. Strategic optimism acknowledges the darkness, but actively searches for ways to work with it, transform it, or use it as fuel for something better. During the Great Depression, it wasn't the eternal optimists who created lasting change. It was the people who could see both the harsh reality and the potential for something new. They understood that sometimes you have to completely rebuild rather than just repair. INFJs have this same ability to envision what comes after the breakdown. They're not just dreaming about a better future. They're actively mapping out how to get there. While others are asking, why is this happening to me? INFJs are asking, what can I learn from this? And how can I use this experience to help others? The deep well of inner strength. Here's something most people don't understand about INFJs. Their alone time isn't about avoiding the world. It's about building up their inner resources so they can give more to the world when it needs them most. Think of it like a phone battery. While everyone else is running around using up their energy, INFJs are constantly recharging so they're ready when the power grid goes down. This inner strength isn't loud or flashy. It's quiet, steady, and incredibly reliable. When crisis hits, INFJs don't panic because they've already spent countless hours thinking through worst-case scenarios. Not because they're pessimistic, but because they want to be prepared to help when things go wrong. They've done the emotional work. They've faced their own darkness, wrestled with their demons, and come out the other side with a deep understanding of how healing actually works. This isn't theoretical knowledge. It's hard-won wisdom from their own battles with doubt, fear, and uncertainty. When someone's going through their darkest hour, they don't need someone who's going to tell them everything will be fine. They need someone who's been in the darkness and found their way out. That's exactly what INFJs offer, not false comfort, but real hope based on real experience. The natural counselor gene. INFJs seem to have this built-in counselor gene that activates during tough times. Even if they've never taken a psychology class, they instinctively know how to create safe spaces for people to process their emotions. They ask the right questions, listen without judgment, and somehow know exactly what someone needs to hear. This isn't just about being a good listener, though INFJs are exceptional at that. It's about creating an environment where healing can actually happen. They understand that sometimes people need to talk, sometimes they need silence, and sometimes they just need to know someone cares enough to sit with them in their pain. During dark times, most people either try to fix everything immediately or they avoid the messy emotions altogether. INFJs take a different approach. They're comfortable with discomfort. They can sit in the middle of someone's storm without trying to stop the rain. They know that sometimes you have to feel the feelings before you can move through them. This ability to hold space for others' pain without being overwhelmed by it is incredibly rare. It's like being a lighthouse. You provide guidance and hope without being swept away by the waves crashing around you. The pattern recognition superpower. INFJs are natural pattern recognition experts. They see connections that others miss, understand how different pieces fit together, and can predict how situations might unfold. During stable times, this ability might seem interesting, but not particularly useful. During chaotic times, it becomes absolutely essential. When everything's falling apart, most people focus on individual problems. The job loss, the relationship ending, the health scare, the financial stress. They see these as separate, overwhelming issues. INFJs see the bigger picture. They understand how these challenges might be connected, what the underlying causes might be, and most importantly, how addressing one issue might help solve several others. This systems thinking is incredibly valuable during crisis management. While others are putting out individual fires, INFJs are looking for the source of the sparks. They're not just trying to solve today's problems, they're working to prevent tomorrow's disasters. They also recognize patterns in human behavior that help them understand why people react the way they do during tough times. They can see when someone's anger is really fear, when someone's withdrawal is actually a cry for help, when someone's aggression is covering up deep hurt. This insight helps them respond in ways that actually address the root issues rather than just the surface symptoms. The emotional translator. One of the most valuable skills INFJs bring to dark times is their ability to translate emotions. They can take someone's tangled mess of feelings and help them make sense of what they're actually experiencing. It's like having a universal translator for the human heart. During crisis, people often feel things they don't understand. They might be angry but not know why, sad but unable to identify the source, or anxious about things that seem completely unrelated to their actual problems. INFJs can help people untangle these emotional knots and figure out what they're really dealing with. This isn't just helpful for individuals. It's crucial for groups, families, and communities trying to navigate difficult times together. INFJs can help bridge the gap between people who are processing the same situation in completely different ways. They can explain why one person needs space while another needs connection, why someone might be acting out when they're actually scared, or why a family might be fighting more when they're all just trying to cope with the same loss. This emotional translation ability also helps INFJs communicate hope in ways that actually resonate with people. Instead of generic encouragement, they can offer specific, personalized insights that speak directly to what someone is experiencing. They know the difference between what people need to hear and what they're ready to hear. The crisis innovation mindset. INFJs don't just survive dark times, they innovate during them. They have this unique ability to see opportunities for growth, change, and improvement that only become visible when the old systems break down. While others are mourning what was lost, INFJs are already designing what could be built. This isn't about being insensitive to loss or change. INFJs feel the pain of transition as deeply as anyone. But they also understand that destruction often precedes creation, that sometimes things need to fall apart before they can be rebuilt better. They're like architects who specialize in building on ground that's been cleared by disaster. During dark times, INFJs often come up with creative solutions that nobody else considered. They think outside the box because they're not limited by how things have always been done. They're willing to try completely new approaches because they understand that desperate times call for innovative measures. This crisis innovation mindset makes INFJs incredibly valuable during organizational changes, family transitions, community challenges, and personal transformations. They're not just helping people get through tough times. They're helping them emerge stronger, wiser, and more capable than before. The empathy without absorption skill. Here's where INFJs really shine during dark times. They can feel with people without drowning in their emotions. This is an incredibly rare and valuable skill. Most people either shut down emotionally to protect themselves or get so overwhelmed by others' pain that they can't actually help. INFJs have learned to be empathetic without being absorbed. They can understand and feel someone's pain without making it their own. This allows them to stay clear-headed and solution-focused even when they're surrounded by intense emotions. They're like emotional first responders who can work effectively in the middle of a crisis. This skill develops over time, through practice, and often through necessity. Many INFJs learn early in life that they need to find ways to help others without losing themselves in the process. They develop internal boundaries that protect their energy while still allowing them to connect deeply with people who need support. During collective trauma, like natural disasters, economic downturns, or social upheaval, this ability becomes absolutely crucial. Communities need people who can hold space for everyone's pain without being paralyzed by it. They need individuals who can see the big picture while still caring about the small details of human suffering. The long-term vision advantage. INFJs are natural long-term thinkers. While others are focused on immediate survival, INFJs are already planning for recovery, growth, and what comes next. This future-focused perspective is incredibly valuable during dark times because it provides hope and direction when people feel lost. They understand that current pain is temporary, even when it doesn't feel that way. They can see beyond the immediate crisis to the lessons that will be learned, the growth that will happen, and the opportunities that will emerge. This isn't naive optimism. It's informed hope based on understanding how change and growth actually work. This long-term vision also helps INFJs make better decisions during crisis. While others might make choices based on immediate relief or short-term fixes, INFJs consider the long-term consequences. They ask questions like, how will this choice affect us in 5 years? And what precedent does this set for the future? They also help others develop their own long-term vision. During dark times, people often lose sight of their goals, dreams, and values. INFJs can help them reconnect with what really matters and create realistic plans for moving forward. They're like career counselors for the soul, helping people figure out what they want their life to look like after the crisis passes. The authentic connection catalyst. INFJs have this amazing ability to create authentic connections during times when people are most vulnerable and most likely to isolate themselves. They understand that isolation during dark times can be deadly, not just emotionally, but sometimes literally. They make it their mission to reach out, check in, and create opportunities for real connection. But here's what makes INFJs special. They don't just create any connection. They create meaningful, authentic relationships that actually help people heal. They're not interested in surface-level conversations or fake positivity. They want to know how you're really doing, what you're really struggling with, and how they can really help. During crisis, people often put up walls to protect themselves. INFJs are experts at gently lowering those walls and creating safe spaces where people can be genuinely vulnerable. They know that healing happens in relationship, not in isolation. They understand that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do for someone is simply witness their pain without trying to fix it. This connection-building ability extends beyond individual relationships. INFJs often become the glue that holds families, friend groups, and communities together during tough times. They're the ones who organize the check-ins, remember the anniversaries, and make sure nobody gets forgotten in the chaos. The wisdom synthesis gift. INFJs are natural wisdom synthesizers. They take lessons from their own experiences, insights from others, knowledge from books and research, and somehow weave it all together into practical guidance that actually helps people. During dark times, this becomes an incredibly valuable resource for anyone trying to make sense of their situation. They're like walking libraries of human experience. They remember stories, lessons, and insights that seemed random at the time, but become exactly what someone needs to hear during their darkest hour. They can draw from philosophy, psychology, spirituality, literature, and personal experience to offer perspectives that help people see their situation in a new light. This isn't about having all the answers. INFJs are usually the first to admit they don't. But they're excellent at helping people find their own answers by asking the right questions, sharing relevant experiences, and offering different ways of thinking about problems. During collective difficult times, INFJs often become informal teachers and mentors. They help people learn from the crisis rather than just endure it. They turn traumatic experiences into opportunities for growth, insight, and wisdom. They help individuals and communities become more resilient, not just survive current challenges. The hope architecture skill. INFJs are architects of hope. They don't just feel hopeful. They build hope systematically, carefully, and sustainably. They understand that hope isn't just a feeling. It's a practice, a skill, and a choice that needs to be cultivated, especially during dark times. When people are in crisis, empty encouragement often feels insulting. Telling someone everything happens for a reason or just think positive can actually make them feel worse. INFJs take a different approach. They build hope by acknowledging the reality of the situation while also identifying genuine reasons for optimism. They help people see their own strength by reminding them of challenges they've overcome before. They point out resources and support systems that people might not be aware of. They help identify small, achievable steps that can create momentum toward larger goals. They celebrate tiny victories that others might overlook. INFJs also understand that hope needs to be grounded in reality to be sustainable. They don't promise that everything will be perfect, but they do help people see that growth, healing, and positive change are possible even in the midst of difficulty. The transformation guide role. Perhaps most importantly, INFJs understand that dark times aren't just something to survive. They're opportunities for transformation. While others focus on getting back to normal, INFJs help people discover what's possible beyond normal. They see crisis as a catalyst for growth, change, and evolution. This doesn't mean they minimize the pain or difficulty of challenging times. They understand that transformation is often painful, messy, and uncomfortable. But they also know that the alternative, staying stuck in patterns that don't serve us, is often more painful in the long run. INFJs are like midwives for personal transformation. They help people birth new versions of themselves from the ashes of who they used to be. They understand that sometimes we need to completely let go of old identities, beliefs, and ways of being in order to become who we're meant to become. They help people see their struggles as part of their story, not the end of their story. They understand that the most powerful people are often those who've been through the most difficult experiences and emerged with wisdom, compassion, and strength they didn't know they had. Conclusion. So why are INFJs built for the darkest times? It's not because they're immune to pain or naturally optimistic. It's because they've developed a unique set of skills, perspectives, and abilities that become absolutely essential when life gets tough. They combine deep sensitivity with remarkable strength, strategic thinking with genuine compassion, and realistic assessment with unwavering hope. They understand that dark times aren't just obstacles to overcome. They're opportunities for growth, connection, and transformation that can lead to profound positive change. If you're an INFJ watching this, you might not always feel like you're built for difficult times. You might feel overwhelmed, exhausted, or uncertain about your ability to help others when you're struggling yourself. But remember, your sensitivity is your superpower. Your depth is your gift, and your ability to see possibility in the midst of darkness is exactly what the world needs. The dark times will come and go, but your ability to help others navigate them, grow from them, and emerge stronger will remain. That's not just your calling. It's your contribution to making the world a little bit brighter, one person at a time. Trust in your unique gifts. Take care of yourself so you can take care of others. And remember that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is simply show up and be present in someone's darkness until they're ready to see the light again.